All right. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for hosting once again this Chennai Storytelling Festival. I should not say it is just a Chennai Storytelling Festival. I think Pratigya wrote somewhere it is a Mahakumbh of festival. Yeah, like it is the festival of all festivals, the best, the one of a kind. Yeah, in terms of your reach, just massive. And year after year, you keep adding more and more to it. So this is like unbelievable. So hats off to you. And thank you, Eric, also for giving me a purpose in life. And that's why I'm here today with a little bit of experience that I have gathered over these years on this topic. And hello, everybody, whoever has joined for coming here in this beautiful, warm space. So lovely to have you all. All right. So with this, let us begin our session, our workshop, today's workshop, which is on scripting and sculpting the characters of your story. Okay. So as the name suggests, there are two components, scripting and sculpting. Okay. Eric, can I have the first slide, please? Yes. So this is more for me than for you. Because otherwise, with aging, I'm forgetting what I want to say. So better to keep a note of that. Yeah. So let's go to the second one. Yeah. So since, being a student of language and literature, I have a little bit of interest in etymological derivation of the word. So when a couple of days ago, I thought of, uh, doing a bit of more research on characterization, then this idea popped up in my mind that how this word has come to the use or from when it is being used. And it's very interesting. The word, it is originally a Greek word and it is pronounced as harasein or harasein, something like that, which originally meant to engrave. So it was no way close to the word character that we know now. So it was completely different, to engrave. And then over time, it evolved. And even in Greek language, it came to be known as an engraved mark. So from that to engrave, that action, it turned to an engraved mark. But in English language, it was adopted much later in 14th century. As we all know, English is a melting pot. English language is a melting pot of various cultures and languages. So this particular word has been taken from Greek language, and in 14th century only it was taken and used as in English language. And initially, even in English language, it meant as a symbol, a graphic symbol, an alphabetical letter, a symbol on a body, on a soul also sometimes it used to mean. And then in 17th century, the beginning of the 17th century, it was referred to as a distinctive mark of a group or an individual or a community. So slowly it is evolving from engraved to an engraved mark to a symbol, and then symbol or feature of a particular community or a group. And then mid 17th century, this current meaning that a persona or a figure, if a novel or a play, was finally, it took its shape, the final shape as we know it now. So from mid-century, we know the character means a persona or a figure in a novel or drama or whatever, in any writing. Okay, so this I don't know why, but I wanted to tell. Okay. Okay. So coming to the next part. Eric, can go to the next slide. Oh, so this is not something like we, or most of us are here storytellers. So it's not something that I'm going to give you some dhyan and on this topic. And most of us know, and this is a very basic something. So most of us know about this topic. Most of us have been working on it. So it is like we will be interacting with each other and creating a knowledge pool over here. So please feel free to, give your opinion, your suggestion, your inputs when and where we are discussing about anything. So what do you think is the importance of characters in the story? Please, if you can unmute yourself.
I think the characters is what takes the story forward. They're like the main. A plot is important, but I think without characters, nothing really. There's no story without a character to me.
All right, very good. Yeah, I too felt like that, Prati. Anybody else wants to say something about the importance of character, or do you think the character, it's okay, that it's not that important? That is also fine.
May I, Deb? I feel,
yeah, please.
Yeah, the characters only help the audience to connect with the story. Like we tend to connect with we tend to resonate with any of the characters, and that's how we connect, is what I feel.
All right. Okay. So I felt the character, I think, like as both of you said, so I too felt that it's a key driving force of the story. Okay. I can see many others, a lot of names that I'm familiar with. So anybody wants to, comment anything on your perception?
Characters are in situations. So
Okay.
the way a character manages and handles a situation, that's the key of the story.
All right. So basically, we see that there are stories wherein plots are given more importance. So we call that plot-driven stories. Okay, and there are stories earlier, story, more importance were given on events or incidents or plot. Then slowly, what happened? We started going deeper into the psyche of the characters. Okay. Say it all started with after the Industrial Revolution, when people were suffering, there was a massive exodus of population from the villages to the city, and people's conditions were really very deplorable condition they were living in. Then the importance of character, their feeling, their what the sufferings they're going through, slowly, and later in the modern age and post-World War, we find lot of writings where characters and character psychology is given more and more importance. So then we have the character-driven story. So if you are a person who is more of an action type, you can script your story with more emphasis on action, on incidents, on plot. And if you are a person who is more a psychological, you have a bent of mind, then character-driven story is your thing. Yes? Anybody has anything else to say? Agree, disagree, anything?
Deb?
Yeah.
Can I disagree with that?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
My first thought was somehow the first stories that we talk about go back to our religious stories or mythological stories.
Mhm.
In those, I've always felt that the characters were playing a bigger role than the plot itself. Or, but as you were speaking, what I realized is, I think stories have evolved in whichever way, but the way we analyze the stories, that has changed. So maybe
Exactly.
earlier we were looking at plots as to what
Plots.
is the reason this person did that, and
Huh.
now is where, as
Perception.
listeners, we are, looking at more of the character. So that is the understanding I had through your discussion.
Yeah, yeah. Even say, for example, Ramayana. So Ramayana, when Valmiki's Ramayana or the Ramayana that we get from the olden times, that is the continuously this happened, that happened. So it's a flow of the actions. But later, now you get to see that about some characters. So Ramayana from the perspective of Sita, Ramayana from the perspective of Hanuman, Ramayana from through somebody's eye. So that means we are giving more importance into psychology, into perspectives, more in the postmodern age. Am I correct, Prati? Are you trying to say this?
Yes, I think that is what I finally arrived
Yes,
at. Yeah.
yes, yes. So that's why both perspective and interest in the characters and characters' mind increased more and more in the postmodern age.
So can we say, Dev, that the characters can alter the narrative of the story?
Characters can alter the narrative. Yes, if the story is written from the point of view of an antagonist, then the story might change. Yeah.
So that's why the sculpting and scripting of the characters, like how you want to present the narrative, that's how it is like when you are going to do a story, when we are framing a story.
If I tell a Ramayana from Ravana's perspective, I would like to, and if I am Ravana, for example, when I did Surpanakha, I tried to justify that why I am what I am. And I felt that, I mean, just, I don't buy your point that I can't propose an ideal type. I'm not that type. So what? So I'm going to justify my point, right? If I
So
am
that is the strength of the characters, right? They can take the story in any direction. So that is the core strength of the character.
yes,
That's what I understood. The core strength of the characters, they can take the story in any way, how the
yes,
characters are scripted.
yeah. Somebody has written, yeah, yeah. Some forest of enchantment, exactly. Right. Okay. All right. Next slide, please, Eric. Yeah. Okay. So I think we have been talking for some time. So I usually, when try to give a difference between narrative way of saying and breathing life into the characters and making the characters more throbbing, pulsating. What is the difference happens in telling? To give that, I usually to give. I mean, to cite that example, I usually use Thirsty Crow because that story everybody knows, all of us know over here definitely. So if I say Thirsty Crow in terms of narration, how would we say the incident narration, giving importance on plots and this situations, what happened? So how would we say that? Once upon a time, there lived a crow. He used to fly happily every day. And that was his daily routine. And one sunny afternoon, he was flying high. It was a scorching summer afternoon. And suddenly the crow felt thirsty. As I already mentioned, it was a scorching summer, peak of the day, that time. And the crow, since it was feeling thirsty, it was in dire need of water. So all it was looking for was water everywhere. But there was a huge scarcity or crisis of water. People were all suffering. Lakes and rivers were drying up. So poor crow couldn't find water anywhere. It just tried to, think and find out if it could spot at least a few drops to just moisten its throat. And that's when it spotted a jar. The crow found a ray of hope. It just swooped down. It looked into the jar. But alas, there was water, but way below the crow's reach. But the crow didn't give up hope. It still kept on thinking. And you know what? The crow was quite educated. It had been to school. So he knew the displacement theory. And so he was looking for something which could, put in place or which could activate the Archimedes' principle. And that's why the crow touched and found small stones and began dropping stones, and the water level rose up. The crow drank the water to its heart content and flew away. So how do you think is the story? Could you see the crow? Could you see could you feel the summer? Could you feel the jar where the water was way below? Could you empathize with the crow? Good, bad, ugly, anything? Or shall I go for the second version? Yeah. Once upon a time, there lived a crow. Yes, our own crow, the happy crow, ka, 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 who does all over our, around our house. So this happy crow every day would take happily a flight around up there. One afternoon, it was just flying high, merrily, singing, ka, 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 ka. Now all of you, if you want, you can join me, join the crow, no problem. Ka, 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 ka,
Ka, ka, ka, ka, ka, ka.
ka,
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 ka, ka, ka, ka.
ka, 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 ka. The crow couldn't continue his song because he was feeling thirsty. Mummy always tells, please drink a glass of water before you leave and you take off a flight. I forgot. What to do? Think, crow, think. So the crow thought for a while, but it was summer, peak of summer. Poor crow couldn't find water anywhere. It searched here, it searched there, it searched everywhere. Finally, it spotted a jar. Ah, the crow was relieved. With great hope, the crow swooped down. Water was there, dear friends, but way below the reach of our dear crow. It tried to tilt the side that way. Rich? No, no, no way. The crow thought for a while. जब सीधी उंगली से घी नहीं निकले तो उंगली तेरी करना चाहिए. which means if you can't pick up something with your straight finger, you just have to, bend your finger. So what can I do? And as I mentioned, the crow was well aware of displacement theory. So the crow looked for something, and yes, it just went there and picked up the papers and pick, drop, pick, drop, pick, drop, pick, drop, pick, drop, pick, drop, tuck, 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 tuck. And over time, with the pebbles, the water level rose up, and our crow it quenched its thirst, and it said, "Now let me fly, sing, and move once again. Come on, friends. Ka 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 ka." So now tell me, which version of the story do you think would be more appealing and more lively, which has more life in it?
Second version, of course.
And why? The incidents are same, right? And probably the first plot-driven version, I used more of diction and tried to use little more words and to describe the scenario. Whereas the second version, I tried to empathize with the crow's thirst and tell it from that point of view. Okay, so it is when the storyteller, when all of us try to breathe life into the character, and the character speaks out, the character shows and tells, and throws open what is going inside his or her mind, and then the story gets its life. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So therefore, when we are deciding the scripting our characters, what are the factors that you feel we should take into consideration? And forget my slide. As I said, my slide is only for my, I should not forget what I am to say. Is it causing a problem? Ambu, should
No. I just felt when you are narrating the story, if we can stop sharing, we can see you better.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Debjani, I wanted to say that the most memorable thing for me in what you were just doing was the way you were acting and the way you were using your voice, not just voice modulation, but acting as the character. So that is part of. It's not part of scripting necessarily. It's not choosing the words, but it's the way that you deliver the words.
Yes. So that is a sculpting part that we will come later. So now it is so when we are, we as storytellers, we all know we have to first start writing our story, right? How we are going to tell. We can't tell the story the way it is in the book, because that is not a tellable version. That is the author has written. So he can use lot of words, but we can't tell. We have to show how the characters are feeling, what the characters are going through. That will make our story more interesting rather than telling on and on and on. So there, we need to keep in mind certain factors. So what do you think are those factors? According to me, of course, the target audience is important. Who are our target audience? That is important because according to that, we can pitch in our characters, our words, all the distinctive marks of the story. But other than that, another thing which I feel very important is the genre of the story. What genre of the story are we telling? Because each genre also has its distinctive mark. If I ask you to write in the chat, how would you like to tell a romantic story? What would you keep in mind when you are going to narrate a romantic story? I'm not talking about the characters. I'm just talking about the scripting here. Just what tone would you like to add to it? What kind of setting does it have? Because, and here, the first meaning of character, the distinctive mark, is coming into play. So words play a great role in romantic stories, told but not clearly told, okay? A light and easy-going kind of a tone. Very good. Pratigya has said, and Ambu is telling soft, romantic, flowers, beach, wow. Soft and Sweet Voice by Ridza Harris. I'm sorry if I have pronounced your name wrong. And Priyanka is telling words play a great role in romantic stories. Yeah, it is not fully told, yet told. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? Feel of love. Yeah. So that means here also we need to keep in mind those distinctive marks. Now we go to another genre. Say, for example, Veer Rasa. That means stories of valor and courage.
Did you want to go back to the screen share?
It's okay. We can show it later, Eric.
Okay.
Next one. We'll show later. Let them reply now. Powerful, strong, a determination. Okay, so we will be using words which are little, grand. For example, I remember when we were doing Ramayana, and I said, okay. So Hanuman asked something, and then the other person said something, and Hanuman says, okay, I can do this. And then one of our senior storytellers, one of the mentors, you can say, he said, no, you are doing an epic, a mythology. So you need to understand, okay is a very modern usage. So when you are doing mythology, you can't use that kind of word. You can say all right, but you can't say okay. So few things we need to keep in mind. Even one more storyteller said, I'm finding something fishy. And that time also the senior teller said, no, you can't say, I find something fishy is a very colloquial way of saying. Yeah, but you are doing a grand epic. So your verse, anyways, epics are written in grand verse. So it has a separate meter and everything. So I'm not going into that discussion. But while telling, you should be very careful about the choice of words. Because those words for that genre has a specific mark. and you can't do, larger than life. Priyanka, yes. Strong emotions told boldly. Lalita has written. Pallavi, hi Pallavi, good that you are here. Confident characters, loud and clear. Yeah. Often their expressions are very loud, very clear, they are very eloquent. Yes. Yeah. And just opposite to that, okay, depends on how one is retelling the epic. All right, Priyanka. Yeah. We can differ, but that's what I have heard, and I wanted to share with you about our senior tailor's opinion. Yeah. So, right from Veer-rasa, that means stories of valor, courage, mythology. If we come to a Birbal story or a Tenali Raman or court jester story, so what would be the words and how would you like to present it? Naughty and cheeky. Light-hearted, fluffy, airy, yes. Sarcastic, yet funny. Good. Yeah. So this I wanted to share with you about the distinctive marks of scripting the story, which is based on the target audience and the genre that you are choosing. Now, can I have the next slide, Eric? Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, the thing is, when we are choosing a story, I think day before or sometime, Ramendra Kumarji was talking about storytellers who write their own story, who are not picking up stories from the books and scripting them for telling, but they are writing right from the scratch. They are writing their own story. So what are the characters that we need to keep in mind a good story can have? Not necessarily all the stories need to have all these characters, but if you see that stories that are there etched in our mind, you will find more or less these are the various categories of characters. So Vladimir Prop is a folklorist from Russia, and in his narrative theory, he has studied more or less 100 and more than 100 stories, and he found there is a pattern in these stories, and which is almost common. That is, the story should have a protagonist, that is the lead character, okay? And the protagonist is in search of something good for his community, something good to establish good, to eradicate evil. He or she has a higher purpose in life. So that's why the protagonist we can call the lead character. And just opposite to protagonist, we have antagonist, whose main objective is to create obstacles, challenge the protagonist, and yes, as I said, create obstacles and obstruct his path. And probably he is also pursuing the same goal. Suppose there are two, there is hero, there is villain, and there is one love interest, and both of them want to have that love interest. So both of them are following the same love interest, and then there is a dishum fight between the protagonist and the antagonist. That is also possible. Or the antagonist is not willing the protagonist to achieve something. Okay. Then we have a mentor. like a guru. In all our mythological stories, we are very familiar with this teacher, guru, mentor kind of a character who teaches the protagonist, and guides him, gives him all the necessary instructions of how to go ahead in this path to achieve the mission, to accomplish the mission. Then we have a donor. The donor gives something which helps him to follow his journey. He gives something, he donates something to the hero that it helps him, the protagonist, to move on his journey. Dispatcher is someone who makes him go. The hero is usually in a very comfortable world. He is not aware what is happening there, what he should do or what she should do. He or she is lost in his or her world until he or she is forced to move away and cross the threshold and go to the call of the wild. So this is basically the Joseph Campbell's typical theory of hero's journey. And the dispatcher is the one who forces him to go out. And then we have helper. Helper can be sidekicks or allies who are always with the hero. They guide the heroes. They, they sometimes give a commentary. No, you're doing this. No, you should do this way. You should do that way. They're always there with the hero. So we can have the sidekicks, we can have them as helpers, we can have them as allies, we can call them in these terms. And then we have a gift or a reward, which could be a princess or a prince at the end, which the hero or the protagonist is going to I myself don't like to call princess. I like to call a reward or a gift that the protagonist will achieve at the end. And we also have a false hero. False hero is a character who shows off that he is also a very, very highly intelligent and accomplished character. But finally, he cannot live up to that expectation that he builds up. And his actual true self is revealed. So these are the usual characters. Now, I would like you all to think very, very known stories like Lion King, like Cinderella, like Harry Potter, in this, and try to analyze and examine the characters and see who is playing what role there and how it is fitting to that. Yeah, Pratik.
Sometimes some of the characters could be doubling up as two or more.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely. They can make, especially mentor, dispatcher. These three roles, not necessarily we always have separate.
Three different ones.
One person can be the mentor and he is only the donor and he is only the dispatcher. Yeah. So can we take Lion King? I don't know. When I teach in the college students are very much interested in analyzing all these stories, the Marvels and Lion King and all these English Hollywood stories, films. So I just thought, okay, why not try here also a little bit about the few stories that is very common to us, like Lion King or Harry Potter. So who is the protagonist in Lion King? You can write in the chat. Simba, yes. An antagonist? Scar. Wow, Ambu. Huh. Ritza, you have written hyenas also, and you love the hyenas. Okay. Very good. Yeah. I was thinking, Ritza, how about seeing the hyenas also as a little bit as false hero? I mean, it is open. There is no, there's nothing right or wrong. Yes, they were helping Scar, the villain. At the same time, they were, yeah, they could be the false heroes also. Yeah.
Debjani, can you explain more why hyenas can be false hero, you think?
Why I thought false hero? Because they were trying to, play smart. They were always trying to overdo. I felt they were overdoing in front of Scar, and kind of, somehow I felt that they were trying to overdo and they're trying to play smart. At the same time, they were very, very antagonistic. Okay, what about the mentor? Uh, Parrot. There was a parrot also. I'm sorry, I don't remember about the parrot right now. Okay. Mentor could be Mufasa. Okay. And the donor and dispatcher? Yeah. I felt donor and dispatcher both are that Rafiki. There was that monkey. He was a monkey. Baboon, some character was there. Rafiki, right? If any of you remember. He is the one who finally comes and tells Simba that you have to come and save the Pride Rock. So it is Rafiki who I felt is the donor and the dispatcher. And who are the helper, the allies?
Timon and Pumbaa.
Yes, nobody can make any mistake about it. Timon and Pumbaa. Yeah. And what was the gift or the reward of the princess?
The throne,
Yes,
Mufasa's.
that Pride Rock's throne, right?
Yes.
Yes. Uh, so this is what usually is followed. But do you think in Indian folk tales or Indian stories, we are giving lot of importance on rasa. So we're seeing protagonist, we are seeing antagonist, we have a mentor, we may have a love interest also, but these rasas play a big role over here. So hence this demarcation or this categorization, always we don't follow. Our movies, our stories not necessarily always follow this pattern. But if you are trying to script a story, you can see it from this point of view. For example, if you see Ramayana, the protagonist, Rama, antagonist,
Ravana.
Ravana. Actually, there are many antagonists because it's a huge epic.
Primary antagonist.
Yeah, that every time an antagonist comes, the story moves. So the first antagonist is Kaikeyi and Manthara. The story changes, and then the antagonist is what is it? Surpanakha, and then the antagonist is Ravana. Finally, okay, and the mentor are the gurus who help them, right? And even some gurus are the donors who give them some jewelry to Sita and some Ashirvad, that the supernatural aids come through them.
Vishwamitra, Jatayu,
Yes.
Sabari.
Yeah. So since it's a huge, a canvas is huge, so we have many characters. We can't have only one or two. Actually, there are a group of antagonists. Only the protagonist, we can say, yeah, Rama is the protagonist. Okay. And helper, or even as we see helper, Lakshmana is definitely the one, the lie. We can also have Hanuman. And helper can play an important role by giving a comic relief, which we see much in Hanuman. So the story is very heavy, going on and on and on, heavy story. And here he is giving a dash of humor here and there to break that monotony.
So in a way, he's a helper, not just for the characters, but for the story itself.
For the story itself, exactly. So that's why he is the helper. Yeah. Okay. Eric, can we have the next slide, please? So we can also say, if we don't have to remember Vladimir prop or the narrative, if you just keep in mind primary, secondary, tertiary characters. Primary, protagonist, antagonist, the love interest, and maybe the important side. Another important, maybe the mentor who is helping the protagonist to gain some knowledge or this. And the second is the secondary characters are the sidekicks, or on the way who is helping, the allies, or the foes they make on the way. And then we have the tertiary characters. Tertiary characters, like once or twice they are coming to fill the gap. Like it is a driving force, right? Characters are the driving force. So tertiary characters come just to drive the story little more, little further. Okay. And now I will pause and I will ask you to take out your notebook or whatever you have and try to jot down a story that you are working on, or you can just randomly pick up a story and try to see who are these primary characters of your story, who are the secondary characters of your story, and if you have a tertiary characters, not that all the stories are tertiary characters. So first, let us start by jotting down. Yes, Prati.
I have a thought.
Yeah.
See, what the characters and the long list that you're talking about, that is something that we can look at in longer story formats, like the
Exactly.
epics
Yeah.
of the movies. Now,
Mm.
more often than not, the stories that we as storytellers tell are much shorter format.
Yes.
In that situation, we may not even have, say, half of these. Another thought that came to my mind is, in that case, can some of the situations themselves play some of the characters? Like like they could have been, say, a fire is caught in a forest. Okay, a forest is caught fire. Can that be looked upon as, the previous things that you were talking, as a dispatcher? That is the reason
Yes.
why the characters have moved away. So
Yeah, definitely. So the situation or the setting can become a character at various. That's why the distinctive mark I pointed out. And uh, you have rightly pointed out, because Vladimir Prop had studied more than 100 folk tales and fairy tales of their culture, which has many characters. Even if you see Little Red Riding Hood, it also doesn't have all that culture, all the characters. It has a dispatcher, it has a protagonist, it has a villain antagonist, it has a helper, and it has a maybe that woodsman who is finally helping, as comes as the reward, or the love interest or something, whatever it will say. So that's why I said you can't have all the characters in all the stories. But if you study, these are generally the pattern. And in Indian stories, especially, we give importance so much on the emotions, on the rasas, that we can't always follow this pattern. We see also on the emotional aspects of it, which will connect, and what is needed for that. So, as I said, please kindly note down the characters that you are working with from a story. I mean, if you are working with a story now, or any story, you can pick up and note down what are the characters there.
And what is meant by flat, round, and dynamic?
I'm coming to that, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Once you are done, please give a thumbs up. Then we will go to the flat, rounded, dynamic character.
sorry, could you repeat what exactly is tertiary and secondary? What's the difference between the two?
Yeah, primary characters, as you said, in say, for example, without these characters, the story cannot be formed. Like, for example, protagonist, antagonist, a love interest, or a mentor may be there, or there has to be some side characters like allies or helpers. These are the primary characters without which we cannot have a story. In some stories, we have some secondary characters, like these three, this protagonist, antagonist, and love interest are the main characters, and the secondary are the helpers, or the one who is the sidekick of the main character. Those are the secondary characters. But some stories have tertiary characters also. Who are the tertiary characters? Nothing but, on the way you are asking, like chain stories we have, right? There we have maybe one or two dialogues by one or two characters who is just adding on a little bit so that the story keeps moving. So these are the tertiary characters. Yeah. So Priyanka, you are done. Others, have you noted down the characters? Yeah. Okay. So now you please look at those characters that you have noted down. How are those characters? Are they flat? Flat means they don't have any layers. They are just of certain qualities and they are remaining throughout like that. Are they round characters? Wherein there is a mix of various emotions. And the dynamic characters are the characters who undergo a change. Yes, yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I have lots to talk about.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
a thought that just came to my mind is, wouldn't the primary character also double up as a dynamic character? Because invariably it's the protagonist who goes through a change. So are we talking
Yeah.
about two different ones, or
No. You are right. In some stories, it all depends on the stories. In some stories, the protagonist has certain misbelief about himself or herself, right? And then he goes through a journey throughout the story, and at the end, he or she learns the truth that the story wants to tell, the message he or she imbibes. So then he that makes him a dynamic character. But for example, if you take Rama, do you consider him as a dynamic character? He is the
No,
protagonist.
he remains the same all throughout.
He from the beginning itself, he is the righteous character, and at the end also he remains the same character. So he's a very flat character, just like a pencil. Okay. If you, I'm reminded of Sherlock Holmes. Uh, if you, all of you have read Sherlock Holmes stories. So whom do you like more, Sherlock Holmes or Dr. Watson?
Dr. Watson,
Because
because he is round, but Shark.
yes, he has that rounded thing. He gives a commentary, and what is this Sherlock Holmes doing? What is his commentaries are makes it more interesting. And yeah, and Sherlock Holmes, like always, is like he has he, I so all most of these detective characters are very flat because they're very intelligent, super intelligent. Yeah, so they cannot have any fall. They have to be perfect. So that's why they are very flat characters. Eric, can we move ahead? Others, anything you have to add other than Priyanka and Prati?
Yeah, actually, I would like to add Debjani,
Please, please.
bringing Priyanka again.
Hmm.
So if we look at the detective novels,
Hmm.
mostly from India,
Hmm.
I haven't read much from outside other than Hercule Poirot and Sherlock Holmes and stuff, basic stuffs like that.
Hmm.
So everywhere you will always see there is an assistant or their
Hmm.
best friend or
Hmm.
his nephew
Hmm.
who actually adds to that flat character, because the flat character cannot really add layers on their own behalf.
Yes.
So they need somebody to talk on their behalf, and that's what the rounded character does for them.
Exactly. And you know, one of the, I mean, sorry, I'm digressing. One of the very renowned actors, the other day I was watching his interview. He said that I'm bored of doing Byomkesh Bakshi. I have done 7 series of Byomkesh. By the way, for the unversed, Byomkesh Bakshi is one of the very renowned detective characters of India, especially Bengal. And all the 7 series that this particular actor has portrayed, all the 7 series are hit. This web series. Despite that, he said, "I'm bored. How many times I will remove my glasses like this or like this, or There's hardly any scope of any variety in those characters. They are so flat. Eric, next slide, please. Yeah, and now comes the heart of this thing, which is so interesting for all of us, sculpting the characters. So this is for you. How do you sculpt your characters when you have to play the characters? You have to role play the characters, right? How would you sculpt your characters? What do you consider? And I please, guys, you can write on the chat box, you can unmute yourself and tell, and anything and everything is okay. So you have written your choice of story, and you have written down the characters that you want to work on. Now you flesh out your characters. Okay. Suppose you have a protagonist, you have an antagonist, you have one more character in the story that you have chosen. Now, how you want to flesh out those characters? Say you are a sculptor. You want to give a shape and figure to those characters, right? So how would you like to do that? What are the points that you think you should have in your mind? So this is the formula that I have found. So I thought it would help us to keep in mind. So here P stands for physical appearance. So as for physical appearance, what would you like to consider, dear friends?
So, the story that I have chosen, the main character is a very grumpy person. The first thing I'm going to talk about is he always had a frown on his face with lots of freckles on his forehead. So that will be the first physical character that I would look on.
Very good. So Pratigya has actually brought us to that point, that physical appearance is often influenced by this other AIRS. AS are basically the internal factors. So physical appearance is the only external factors. The rest of this are internal factors. So she said grumpy. So grumpy is A stands for attributes. That is internally what is your predominant emotion, predominant characteristic. So if a person is grumpy, what would be his physical appearance? It would definitely throw some influence on your physical appearance also. So can I have few of you, video on, and can I have a few of your faces as a grumpy king, as a happy king, and as a very kind king, as a very rude king? Right. Oh, good. Renu, would you like to portray some character? And would you like to mention what is the ruling emotion of that character?
You mean somebody I've created or somebody a story that
No,
I've
no,
read?
no. Just now we are doing an exercise wherein we are noting down a story and we are working on some character. So the physical appearance of that character and the internally what is happening in the character. For example, his outlook on life, his attitude, Prati said, his emotion. So all these are something that is going on inside the character. And that
That's
is
fast.
bound to influence his outside also.
Correct, understood. Okay, that's why I asked, is it a story I have written or is it something that I've read?
Anything. Okay.
Okay. So generally, when I write my own story, I start off with what message I want to give. And accordingly, I sculpt the character. Okay, so yesterday I created a story. I had joined the Australian Storytellers Association, and the theme was "Where's the Sun?" So I started off the story by saying, one day the sun refused to rise. She lay in bed saying, "I don't want to rise today. I'm very upset." So all the stars came and asked, "Why are you so upset?" So the character is predominantly upset. So the other stars come and ask, "Why are you so upset?" So the sun says, "I do so much of work. I stay up in the sun the whole day long, but people are only complaining about me. It's so hot. It's getting hotter every day. Why is the sun like this? Don't go out in the sun. You will get disease. You'll get cancer. People are not appreciating me. Nobody cares how much of work I do." And it is actually happening on the summer solstice. It's June 21st. And the sun says, "Today I will not rise for sure because today I'm supposed to work harder. I'm supposed to work longer." And people are all the time complaining. Nobody appreciates me. So all the stars try to convince and say, "No, no, no, you can't be like this. It's your job to rise and light the earth."
So,
And all that.
I'm sorry if I can pause you there. And can you just say the first line, like the first line that you said, no? One day the sun, something you said, the sun was upset.
Didn't rise.
Yeah,
Didn't rise. Lay in bed, very upset.
Yeah, that one line, how, as a teller, how would you like to tell? If you can.
Okay. So one day the sun refused to rise. "I'm not happy at all. I'm not going to rise today. I'm going to lie in bed the whole day long." Sunset. So every star came and asked, "But why, sun? Why are you doing this? Why aren't you waking up? Why aren't you rising?" And the sun said, "I am upset. Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about my feelings. I get so upset. Everybody is constantly complaining. These humans have nothing nice to say about me. All the time saying it's getting hotter, it's getting hotter. Don't go out in the sun, wear a cap, carry an umbrella, you'll get disease." What do they mean by it? I'm working the whole day long. I'm up in the sky, shining whether I like it or not. I'm supposed to be cheerful and bright. But today I don't feel like getting up.
All right. So she was throwing out frustration. I mean, the sun was throwing out frustration, not Renu, sorry. So, and how nicely Renu was adding the backstory. Why sun is doing like this? So we need to know the backstory. Why somebody is behaving this way. So sun is himself explaining. I mean, I'm doing a lot.
My son is a female. I made her a female.
Oh, your son is a female. Good, good, good. Okay. Okay. Anybody else wants to add? Anybody else wants to say? Bring out a character. Ambu, are you there?
I'm actually trying to fix something. That's why I'm not able to switch on my video.
Okay, okay. But would you like to tell? Because speech is a very important tool with which we can express, even if it is not the facial expression.
Okay. So do you want me to do a character?
Yes. If you are working on a character, the exercise if you are doing. So do you want to share with us?
I need some time. They will totally.
Okay, okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, yeah, Prati.
So, besides the main character, there are lots of characters who are into gossip, right? So then, for them, physically would be a lot of movement more than anything else. You know what? I'll tell you what. A little excitement, Those are the kind of things that I would like to add to my characters.
Mm.
Lots of movement and whispering and
Yes.
don't tell anyone, and a
Mm.
little more animated kind of
Okay.
feel.
Mm. So this internal, this airs, A for action, I for internal thoughts, R for responses to other characters and response to the setting, to the events that are happening, and S is the speech. So P is the physical, and rest of this are internal. That's why I didn't want to explain so much.
Sorry, what was I?
I is internal thoughts, internal struggle, internal the choices the character makes, the decision the character takes, and R is the response to others, response to what is happening in and around, how he responds, he or she. And S represents the speech. So the mannerism, the way he or she talks. If a grumpy person will talk leads this way. Alan, what is this? Is this a food?
Well, that gives me an idea. There you are asking me to enact a character. I really don't understand why I'm not able to do any character when you ask me to do. This has never been the case with me at all. You ask any character, something or the other just flows. But now you're asking me and I have absolutely no clue.
Hi.
I'm losing so much of, I don't know, I'm getting a complex that maybe, I'm not like how I used to be. Very dark.
Yeah. So some kind of self-pity, self-doubt is creeping in. That I got that emotion from you. Am I correct? That's what you wanted to portray? Okay.
Self-doubt, yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, and one more thing is the speech, the non-verbals play a lot of role in bringing out the psyche of the characters, right? So the the internally what is going on, the dialogues, internal dialogue. Sometimes we are talking inside our mind, right? What is going on? Like, so that there also please show and don't tell. We sometimes, we sometimes tell the king was pacing back and forth, and the king was so confused, anxious whole night, he could not sleep. Instead of that, why no news? Still no news from the battlefield. So this will help. Just with few expressions, it will help the audience to understand, the listener to understand what is going on in the mind of the character. Okay, so basically, the character arc, if you see, most of the stories, as Prati was telling, some protagonist starts, as Ambu said, I don't know what is wrong. Nowadays, I am not being able to do anything. Something is happening with me. No, I wanted to create a mark for myself, but I'm failing. And then I keep learning. And at the end, I said, yes, I can. I'm doing already. Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't understand all the while. Thank you so much. So this is the whole journey, the arc of the character arc that we are. So due to sometimes because of some compelling incident, the character goes into this misbelief. For example, the scar, Simba, right? Simba is told by Scar that your father Mufasa has died because of you, and you need to leave. Otherwise, everybody will be against you. And that is like, it is a scar on his soul. and he ran away from that place. Much later, after the whole journey, he comes to understand that no, it was the star who did that. So this whole journey teaches him the truth that the story wants to tell, right? Anybody is ready with a story with many characters and would like to present it? Jeff, would you like to do that? No.
Debjani, 1 minute.
Yes,
I-
Ravi.
I think I missed out on I and R. What do I and R stand for in the pairs?
I stand for, internal thoughts,
Dialogue.
thoughts, conflict,
Okay.
struggle, all this.
And
Okay.
A?
What is R? What is R?
R stand for the reactions. For example, the characters are facing some challenges, some obstacles. How is the character reacting to that?
Okay.
Okay.
And what is A?
A is the action, attitude, behavior, outlook towards life. And that is wholly influenced by the predominant emotion that the character has. Now, if nobody is interested to show a full story with various characters, if you may give the permission, I would like to present a story with multiple characters, just a very, very simple story, very known story, just to, give a glimpse that how we can craft various characters with a bit of touch of distinctiveness.
Okay, before you do that, let me just show the five elements,
Yes.
because I wrote them down. Here we go.
Oh.
Right? The physical,
Okay.
the attitude,
Speaking.
Little
Speaking,
thoughts?
non-verbal should be below, Eric, because speaking is your verbal.
okay.
So mannerisms and non-verbal is beyond that.
Oh. Well, then it's got to be verbal. Well, okay, speaking is verbal, but mannerisms can be nonverbal.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so now we'll stop share. So now, please tell us, Debjani.
Yeah. So once upon a time, there lived a king, very kind and just and loving and giving. So kind that the milk of human kindness would just bubble and flow out from his mind. So one morning, the king was seated on his throne. The courtiers and the ministers were all around. There was musicians singing, Baje go bina, Baje go bina. Yeah, the dancer was also there. She was dancing, and all their eyes, including our kings, were fixed on them, especially on the dancer. Just then, Maharaj, 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 hi, Maharaj. The chief minister rushed in and fell at the feet of the king. What happened, chief minister? Don't be so upset. Tell me, what happened? Maharaj, Gandharva Sen, Maharaj. Our very own Gandharva Sen. Hi, Maharaj. What? Gandharva Sen? What happened to Gandharva Sen? Maharaj, Gandharva Sen is no more. What? Our Gandharva Sen is no more? That is sad indeed. And the king stood up. The court is adjourned for today. And due to the demise of our very own Sri Gandharva Sen, we declare 3 days of national holidays. The flag should be down. And tuck, 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 the kings moved out of the court. All the courtiers, ministers, they burst into tears. Why? Because, my dear friends, Gandharva Sen, the great Gandharva Sen, is dead. Well, the king was moving towards the internal chambers, where the queen was already present and experimenting with her looks. La la la, la 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 la, aha, na na na, na 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 na, na na na. What happened, Raja? Hi, so early today? Not. Queen, not today. Today I'm very upset. Hi, why? What happened? We are mourning. Mourning? But why, Raja? Because our very own Gandharva Sen is dead. What? Our Gandharva Sen is dead. Oh, I'm wearing yellow sari and we are mourning. No. I need to change. Dasi, maids, please bring my white new designer sari and also the matching white jewelry. Gandharva Sen is dead. And the queen went to change. She was changing and crying, remember. Little more powder here. Why you brought this white jewelry? Another was there, no? And the maids, oh, Ranima. Ranima, don't cry so much. You will be dehydrated. When all this was going on, one small child, the daughter of the chief maid, was just moving along the corridor. La, 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 la. And what happened? Why everybody is crying? Ma? Oh, Ma! That even Ma went away. Whom should I ask? Let me ask Ranima. Ranima? Ranima? What? May I ask you something, Ranima? Ask. Why everybody is crying, Ranima? Oh, you don't know? What? I don't know anything, Ranima. Our Gandharva Sen? Our Gandharva Sen is dead, dead. Oh, hey Baba. Gandharva Sen dead, huh? Oh. One more question, Ranima. Please, can I ask Ranima just one question? All right, ask just one. Yes, here only. Ranima, who is this Gandharva Sen? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Who is this Gandharvasan? We don't know, Ranima. I mean, we thought somebody very important, maybe the king's friend or somebody. Yeah, actually, Maharaj was so upset. I could not ask him, I did not want to disturb him. I must ask Maharaj. Maharaj. And she went to Maharaj's chamber. But the king was still upset. Maharaj. Oh, I told you, Queen. I'm very upset today. Hurry, Maharaj, that's why I have come. Can you just tell me who was Gandharvasan? I don't know. What? But Maharaj, don't you think we should know? I mean, everybody is asking who is Gandharvasan and 3 days of national mourning. We should know now. Yes, we must know. Actually, the chief minister came crying. I could not ask him. Though I'm a king, I'm a human being after all. Yeah, Maharaj, I understand. Chief Minister. Pennam hai, Maharaj. Chief Minister, who is this Gandharvasan? Maharaj, Gandharvasan. Hare, Gandharvasan, great scholar, Maharaj. Somebody for whom our youth should, remember and consider him for years like their icon. A great personality, Maharaj. I think so. You think so? Tell me exactly who is Gandharvasan. Actually, Maharaj, exactly so I also don't know. What? You came and you told me that Gandharvasan, he said you were crying at my feet, and that's why I declared 3 days of national holiday. And now you are telling you don't know? Maharaj, what to take? The chief security officer, na, very serious person, always with a stiff body language. But today, he was crying. Why? Because Gandharvasan is dead. So, must be a great personality. Otherwise, why he will cry? Tell me, sir. Please, Maharaj, consider that. Yes, you are also correct. Okay, go and ask the chief security officer. Maharaj, I'll just go and ask him now. Next, it was the turn of chief security officer. Yes, sir. Hey, leave it. Tell me, who is Gandharvasan? So, Gandharvasan. I don't know, sir. What? You don't know? Early morning, you only came and you told me, you remember? I told the king, and the king has declared 3 days of national holiday. Now you're telling you don't know? Sir, morning Sipai Ramu came and reported it to me. Though I am the chief security officer, but I have a human heart after all. I could not control myself, so I reported it to you. All right, go and ask and bring the correct information. Oh, what a mess. Don't worry, sir. I will bring the information. And he left. Sipai Ramu was in his own jolly way moving. Hey, Ramu, sir is calling you. Me? Why? We don't know. Go, meet. All right. Sharp. Ramu, yes, sharp. Who is Gandharvasan? Gandharvasan, sharp. I must be some great person, sharp. Please tell me who is Gandharvasan? Sharp. I don't know any big people, sharp. Morning you came, you told. Remember? Gandharva Sen is dead. Oh, that one. Yes, sir. Shall I tell you? My wife, every day morning, curses me. Why I got married to this sipai, less money, I have to work so much. But today, he was crying. And she was also telling, Gandharva Sen is dead, Gandharva Sen is dead, Gandharva Sen is dead. That's why I thought, be some great person, sir. And I immediately came and told you, sir. What? Now go and ask your wife and come. A big mess has been, you have created, you know. I have, don't worry. I just go ask my wife Lakshmi and come back. And Ramu went to ask Lakshmi. Where Lakshmi was now, actually cursing him. So many vessels I have to wash every day. My father got me married to this poor sepoy. And see, my destiny, my destiny. Hey, Lakshmi. What? So, you have come down now, lazy fellow. No, tell me, who is Gandharva Sen? How do I know? Who is Gandharva Sen? How do I know? I know Sushmita Sen, Miss Universe. I don't know Gandharva Sen. Morning you were crying, no? Gandharva Sen. Oh, that one. That's the next door auntie. You know, that old auntie. Oh, how much she was crying. Gandharva Sen is dead. Gandharva, Gandharva. I could not control myself, Ramu. You know, I'm such a kind-hearted person. I know very well how kind-hearted you are. Now, please go and ask the auntie. Who is Gandharva Sen? Okay, I'll go. Lakshmi went to that auntie's. Auntie was still crying. Oh, Gandharva, my Gandharva. Arey, my Gandharva, my Gandharva. I've lost everything, Gandharva. Auntie, I understand it's a very, very sad moment for your life. But can you please tell us who is Gandharva Sen? Lucky. Gandharva, my everything, Gandharva. Huh? Your son, auntie? Ayo, no, son, no son. But like son only. One son, one daughter. Gandharva is everything. Auntie, please, quickly, auntie, who is Gandharva Sen? Look at that picture. Gandharva Sen. Donkey? Hi. So, dear listeners, on the demise of Mr. Gandharva Sen, for whom the whole nation was observing 3 days of national mourning and holiday, was one donkey. Thank you.
Debjani, that was a fantastic performance. Hats off.
Thank you. So you just have to follow the social stature, what I did in the story, the social stature of the characters, the usual stereotypes little bit I have taken, and the cultural, usually sepoys from Nepal, Sikkim, those areas. So they say shav, they don't say sav, they use sh. So cultural and I had tried to pick up all these little things, nuances. These little nuances also make lot of difference in characterization and putting together this. Finally, I have weaved this story in this way. So that was it. Thank you very much. I think we have come to the end of our workshop. Yes, right, Eric? I cannot hear you, Eric. You are muted.
Yes, we will remember physical, attitude, internal thoughts, responses, and speaking and mannerisms. Very good. Okay, apologies. We have to move on to the next session.
Yes.
But thank you very much, Debjani. That was wonderful.
Thank you very much. Any one word, is it possible for you to, anybody to say or write in the chat?
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Thank you.
Okay.